Joining us now is Hemant Sikka, President of the Farm Equipment Sector at M&M. Sikka, good morning. This is Nantara. Thank you so much for joining us live on the market. First up, give us a sense of what's happening, ahead of the festive season, the tractor sales that you've been seeing, what's happening in Bharat. Put it in perspective for us because, all of us in the media have been reading how the tractor sales are up and even the truck sales are up with the momentum building up on that department.
Good morning, and first of all, congratulations for the start of your new channel. I'm sure you will have tremendous success with this new channel. We had a good month overall as the industry in the month of September. Even though over the last September, which was a very, very high base, the industry degrew by 15%. And M&M, we degrew only by 7.8%. So we have gained market share in the month of September. But overall, we could see very good momentum going into the festive season. We had period of Shraddh in the month of September. So the deliveries were kind of muted during those 10 days. However, now we are looking forward to the Navratra season opening up on the 7th of October. And I think that augurs very well for the industry. So as an industry, October is going to be a very, very big month. We are looking for very strong deliveries as well as billing by all the leading players. You have seen that yesterday the procurement has started in the state of Punjab. Haryana is starting today. And overall, the arrivals in the mandis are very strong. So even though we had a scare in the month of August with the rainfall, when we had a scanty rainfall for almost 3 weeks, but I think the bumper rainfall that we have had in the month of September has covered almost everything. The rainfall is 3% more than the long period average as the season ends. And even last year, monsoon was a bounty monsoon at 109% of the LPA. This time it is only 0.8% less than the last year bumper rainfall. So I think we can't complain about the monsoon anymore. The monsoon has done its bit. I think the IMD was right on dot to predict this to be a normal monsoon. And this time it is the third year back-to-back normal or above normal monsoon. So I think this all is very, very positive for the agri sector. And I would even add that the late burst of monsoon that we had in the month of September actually augurs very well for the next Rabi crop because the moisture content in the soil is going to be very well. So even the Rabi crops now looks to be very, very good.
Oh, that's right. The rain gods are certainly smiling. The other big fear about the third wave, that has not happened. So things are certainly looking up, Mr. Sikka, on a macro level. I take that point really well. But, I have to ask this one question. You're saying that October will be a great month. The chip shortage that you're seeing, has that impacted your production timelines? Is that going to impact the delivery timelines as well? And therefore, that all can have an impact on the business.
Nantara, I'm very happy you asked me this question because tractor is, I guess, the only industry currently globally which is not impacted by the chip shortage because our technology is Purnatah Atmanirbhar. So we are like fully indigenized. We are very happy with this. So I think for the tractor industry, I can speak for the whole industry that we don't have a supply chain crisis in tractor industry, unlike the automotive industry or the consumer goods or the electronics industry that we are currently facing. So we are very well positioned on the supply chain side.
Good to know that then, Mr. Sikka. For FY22, you guided for a low to mid-single digit industry growth for tractors. Given the optimism that you just shared, would you like to revise those targets upwards?
We would not like to revise at this stage, and I'll tell you why. See, last year, the industry clocked almost 9 lakh units. This was a 27% growth over the previous year. So in spite of having a very bad COVID time, the industry did very well last year. Now, on a base of 27% growth of last year, which is 9 lakh units, now we are guiding for a low single-digit growth. I think the industry is poised to achieve that, but right now, we should not be looking at any revision in this. We have to look at how the festive month goes. And only after Diwali, because our festive season starts from Ganpati to Diwali. So these 40 days are extremely critical for the industry. Overall, we see good momentum with the mandi arrivals. The farmers will start getting cash into their pockets. They are going to put that cash to good use and buy their tractors. So overall, we are looking at a good festive season. However, it will not be right to look at revision of the industry upward or downwards at this stage.
Okay, interesting. You know, while I'm really happy to hear that semiconductor chip shortage is not really impacting you or the tractor industry, for instance, but the one thing that is definitely hurting you has been the commodity price escalation. Now, as I understand, you've already taken about 3 price hikes till now in this calendar year. Has the commodity pressure cooled off a little bit, or do you see this to be a recurrent problem? And more importantly, will you continue to pass on the impact of commodity cost escalation onto the consumers? And can we see more price hikes from you?
This is a very good point that you have raised, because the commodities has been on fire for last more than a year. And the kind of commodity inflation that we have seen, especially in terms of steel prices, is unprecedented. I mean, no business can kind of absorb these in a very, very short time frame. Over longer periods, all these get absorbed, but in a shorter time frame, it's always a challenge. However, we have done very well. As you rightly said, we have taken 3 price increases already. Very happy to share with you that all these price increases have been very well absorbed in the market. And I think our strategy on price increases has paid off very well. Instead of passing on the entire cost increase in one go, we have been able to pass it on over a couple of quarters. So even though there is a lag of a quarter, but the prices have been well appreciated in the market, and the farmers have been able to kind of like aligned to these price increases. Right now, I don't think that there is a right now urgent need to take another price increase, because we are already seeing softening of commodities. So I think Q3 we have to monitor till the season is over by, let's say, early week of November, and then take a call. Right now, early indications are that the commodities are softening and the industry may not be required to take a price increase. However, I want to tell your viewers that if the inflation persists, we will take another price increase. There is no two doubts about that.
Hemant, great speaking to you. Alex joining in. Great speaking to you after so long. Just give us a sense of the market share gains that you've had. You mentioned that you've been strategic in terms of the price increases you've taken. Has that contributed to the 41.8% that you recorded in the first quarter of the current financial year, which, as I understand, is an 8-quarter high? Or is there anything else that you're doing on the ground that is making things work in your favor?
I think price increases, we have been very prudent in taking. See, we also have to, on one side, when we have cost pressures, the tendency, the first tendency is to like pass on. But we have been very prudent. We have been always thinking what is right for our customers. And we have seen that if you pass on the price increases in small doses, the market accepts it. And that's what we have done. Most industry players have followed suit, and everybody has kind of taken the similar price increases. So the price increase part is very well now aligned in the market. However, let me tell you, our market share gain in September is 3.2%, and our market share for the month of September was 42.2%. YTD, our market share is still upwards of 41%. So we are at a very, very healthy market share currently. And it is not only the strategy on price increase playing well for us. I think both our brands of Mahindra and Swaraj are doing very well. The customers really love our brands. We have done 2 campaigns on our brand affinity. One is the Tough Hardam campaign. I'm sure you are aware of it on the Mahindra brand. And similarly, we have done a campaign on Josh Ka Raaz Mera Swaraj on Swaraj. So both the campaigns have done very well. Similarly, on the ground, our teams have worked very hard to make sure that the activation on the ground is very strong. We are looking at good footfall into our dealerships. The dealerships are very well aligned, and we are seeing that the financiers are in the market. Mahindra Finance is working very closely with us, and all of this is helping us gain market share.
Hemant, see, you've always had a very long pipeline of products to be launched, and as I see it, you have 37 product launches that are planned till 2025. But how are you going to break this up in terms of the capacity? Are you continuing in the range that you have, or are you going to change the market somewhat to expand it on either side, on the lower side as well as on the upper side?
Last year, with all the COVID crisis suddenly coming up, the industry faced a lot of challenges on the supply side. But I think it is kudos to the industry that we have resolved almost every supply chain issue. And right now, I can speak for Mahindra and Swaraj. All our plants are running at very, very smooth flow, and we have no crisis in terms of any supply chain challenge. Coming for the future, you rightly said we have a very strong product pipeline. We have spoken about our new series of platforms that we call the K2 series, which we are going to produce in our state-of-the-art plant in the state of Telangana. So that's coming up very well. We are setting up a brand new plant under the Swaraj brand, which is our third plant in the state of Punjab in Mohali. There, the land acquisition process is already completed, and we are going to do the Bhumi Pujan in the month of October. Similarly, we are doing expansion activity in our Mahindra brand in our main plant in Nagpur. So there also the work is in process. So we are putting some money behind our capacity expansion because we believe that with the way the industry is going, with the way we are gaining market share, we will need these capacities. Plus our new product launches will also add to the need for capacity. I also want to add that our exports are doing very well. You would have seen in the month of September, our exports grew 25%. So we are getting very good traction in our key markets of Turkey, US, Brazil, Japan. So we are very happy with the way our overseas exports are going. And there also to feed those demands, we need more capacities. Last year, we have kind of prioritized the domestic Indian market and we had deprioritized our exports. But I think now this year, we are being very fair to both our domestic customers as well as our overseas customers, and we are feeding all our markets. However, with the kind of demand that we are seeing for our products, especially in US, we will have to add more capacity here. So all those actions are in place. The capacity rolling is happening and all is working very well on that front.
So you're in expansion mode. We've seen the rural economy bounce back faster, a very healthy pipeline when it comes to launches as well. Mr. Sikka, allow me to play devil's advocate here and not sound like a bear, but there has been a trend that has been noticed, which Jeffries has put out in an interesting report as well, where they're talking about the demand for trucks in 2 months in a row outstrip the demand for tractors. They're also talking about, the registration of tractors falling sharply, almost 22% month on month. If you look at it, what is this all about? Or should we just ignore it because the month of October will see a sharp rebound?
I can talk about tractors. See, as I said in my earlier remarks, that September was a month of Shraddh. And in the month of Shraddh, in many parts of the country, people don't tend to buy new things. So in a sense, the deliveries always get impacted by some percentage. But as the Navratra starts on the 7th of October, you will see very, very strong recovery in terms of deliveries and registration. So I think that was a matter of the Shraddh period, and the Navratras will cover that up. As far as the trucks are concerned, we are very happy that the medium and heavy commercial vehicle is doing well, and my best wishes to my colleagues on that part of the industry.
Okay, so it should be ignored at the moment. You'll see a strong bounce back in the month of October when, of course, the Navratras are also going to begin. It's the auspicious time and when a lot of the Indian families and households, particularly in the smaller towns and villages, like to go out and buy. You have talked about the new product launches. You have talked about capacity additions. If I were to ask you to quantify the Capex that is being undertaken, at least for the farm equipment business, can you share that with us?
We have given a guidance in our last few analyst meets. We have a 3-year rolling cycle on Capex because Capex sometimes that you plan now, actually the real Capex happens maybe next year or the year after, especially in long gestation Capex expenditure like setting up a new plant. So we have given a guidance that over this Capex cycle, which is a 3-year long Capex cycle, we are going to be investing in new products as well as capacity enhancement, a total Capex of 3,000 crores.
Okay, Mr. Sikka, great to have you on the show, and thanks for highlighting just about each and every topic which is impacting the tractor industry in particular as of now.
Thank you for having me.